Okay, here we are. We are doing the Regulation MB tier list. We are live on Twitch, TikTok, and YouTube. So it'll be input from the crowd. If you guys enjoy, hello, say everyone say hi to YouTube. Everyone say hi to YouTube. But yeah, we're doing the Regulation MB tier list. We are basically we're ranking these off of how I think they're gonna do in the metagame. And I am going to open up Pokemon Showdown, so I have something to refer to stats off of. Refer to stats with. So Pokemon Showdown. I'll throw this over here. There we go. I don't know how good Showdown's gonna look on this layout. It's fine enough. That'll work. That'll work. All right. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and rank them. As for the new megas, oh my god, I also have to open up Cerebi to remember what those are. Okay, we got Cerebi up now. So this is Regulation MB. All the new Pokemon are highlighted, but we're only ranking the megas. So I will use this to refer to whenever I'm not sure if there's a mega on the list. But yeah, the rankings we're going with are S tier, which means they are the best of the best. We have A tier, which means that they are meta, but not necessarily broken. We have B tier, which means that they're usable. C tier, which means they're kind of usable if you really put your, like, you know, mind to it. Probably not incredible, though. You'll probably, like, finish 5-3, right? And then F tier is kind of just not worth it. You're not going to get points with it. So basically, S tier, you know, S tier and A tier are what you want to look at. B tier is where you're going to do, like, some fringe team building. C is kind of, like, not really. And then F is just, I don't see how you could even make it work. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. I am going to start off with the Raichus. Mega Raichu X and Y. I'm going to put both of them at kind of usable with X above Y. I have used both. What I will say about Y, right, and X, is that they are pretty underwhelming. Mega Raichu X is interesting in that there's a couple of different variations of it. I personally am on board with the Rising Voltage variation because that set doesn't have to worry about Intimidate, and it has technically better damage output than Zap Cannon. Yeah, it has technically better damage output than Zap Cannon from Mega Raichu Y, even though it only has 90 special attack. That's because Rising Voltage doubles if the target is grounded in Electric Train, so it's a 140 base power move with the Life Orb added on from the Electric Train, so Life Orb boost. It also means that you can't be put to sleep, like in the Charizard Venusaur matchup. I think it'd be better if Amoonguss was around, but it's not incredible. It has access to Fake Out. You probably have to have Run Protect on it. Does it get Detect? No, but you'll probably have to Run Protect on it. It gets Encore, and honestly, I think that if you're not running Encore, the next best move is probably just going to be Grass Knot. So you can deal with opposing Swampert if you have Tailwind up. Because yeah, in Rain, Swampert's a menace. I think it's okay. It's not that strong. It's not that bulky. You could go with the physical variant. I think the physical variant's fine. You know, you do have Volt Tackle, but the issue with Volt Tackle is that Mega Raichu X, it needs speed and it needs to invest in attack. You can't really afford to not invest in either, right? And if you aren't investing in one or the other, and you decide, that means that you're not, like, investing in HP. And even if you had, like, a bunch of HP investment, Volt Tackle, 33% recoil. You only have 60 HP. You Volt Tackle an Incineroar, man. You Volt Tackle an Incineroar. Even if you hypothetically one-shot the Incineroar, which you don't, because it's an Incineroar. I'm going to pull up the calculator. You're doing 202 times 0.33. You're taking 66 HP in recoil. Your Raichu is already down to half health. And it's not even one-shotting. So, yeah, I'm personally on board the special variant just because Rising Voltage makes up for the lower attacking stat. So, yeah. As for Raichu Y, it's down here because Raichu Y, man, Raichu Y is fun. You know, a lot of people are going to be defending it in the comments. They're going to be like, Mr. Boosted. But Raichu Y, he's one of the greatest Americans to ever live. And I'm going to have to say, Mr. President Barack Obama, I think Raichu Y might be from Japan. And also, he's not one-shotting anything. At least nothing relevant. Yes, I'm pretty sure that Zap Cannon, an unmissable Zap Cannon, is probably going to one-shot like a Sneasler or something, if that. 160 special attack's great, 120 base power move, and it's always paralyzing. That's great, right? It requires way too much babysitting. I think if you want to use Raichu Y, It requires, like, you know, a Farigiraf to make sure that you can't get Sucker Punched, because newsflash, this thing drops to a Sucker Punch from Black Glasses Kingambit. It does not enjoy the heavily physical metagame. You know, it doesn't like Garchomp, it doesn't like Sneasler, it doesn't like Kingambit, it doesn't even like Basculegion, a Pokemon that it should hypothetically beat, because it's taking way too much from like Aqua Jet, and if it's a Scarf Basculegion and Jolly, it's just one-shotting it. It's just an extremely difficult metagame to run this thing in. If it could hold a Focus Sash, this thing would be so good, right? It'd be such a good Pokemon if it could hold a Focus Sash, but it can't, because it's a Mega Pokemon. For the most part, it's going to be Fake Out, Zap Cannon, Dazzling Gleam or Grass Knot is like the final move. Sometimes I've seen people run Electro Web, which is pretty good. It's good damage output, and it's like good speed control off of 130. So it's an interesting Pokemon. I don't think it's great. They're going to be unusable. You know, I think they're both just unusable. All right. Up next. Next Pokemon added to the game. These guys were already in it. Oh, the Gen 3 starters. I would say Gen 3 is interesting. Gen 3 is interesting. I don't think any Pokemon that got added are inherently in F tier except for one, which we'll get to that in a second. But Sceptile's bordering on F tier. It's C tier for sure. I think it's worse than both the Raichus. The reason I think that is because Sceptile, the Mega Form, it's good and restricted. The better that like electric types are, and the better that like Kyogre and Groudon are, the better this thing is. The issue is that like there aren't a lot of great electric types, and it itself is admittedly a solid grass type, which is able to beat rain, but like it's not the greatest Pokemon when it comes to like being in a position where it can do what it wants to do. 145 special attack is good. It has Leaf Storm, it has Giga Drain. Its ability's practically useless in this format unless you're activating it yourself, which is a little bit of a letdown. You could do like Rotom, Scarf Rotom with Discharge next to Sceptile. That's pretty cool, but that is extremely gimmicky and kind of difficult to pull off. Dragon Pulse is fine. It's fine, right? It doesn't get Draco Meteor, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it doesn't get Draco Meteor because you have to be, I guess, born a dragon to do that. But yeah, Dragon Pulse is fine. You kind of have to run it. You kind of need to run Leaf Storm or like Grass Knot or Giga Drain or something. Not Protect, but Detect is mandatory. And I think the only other thing this thing kind of has going for it, it did get Earth Power. That's cool for beating like Archaldon. It is like a very good Pokemon into rain due to having Earth Power. But I think that beyond that, the only thing it really has going for it is freaking Shed Tail. And if you're using your Mega Pokemon to Shed Tail, you're kind of in a rough spot. Yeah, it drops to like a single Icy Wind. It's not a great Pokemon. Why Protect over Detect with Sceptile? So technically any Pokemon in this game, in previous games, it was a choice because Detect and Protect had different PP. Detect had a max of 8 PP, Protect had 16 or something. But in this game, there are Pokemon that get Imprison, right? And Imprison makes it so if you have the same move as this Pokemon, you can't click it. No other foe can use a move that is known by the user, right? So, but the crossover of Pokemon that learn Imprison and Protect is basically 100%, right? But the crossover Pokemon that learn Imprison and Detect is much lower. It's like a few Pokemon. So Imprison Protect is a strategy to prevent you from protecting. So technically speaking, even though Imprison Protect isn't super common, you can get away with running Protect and never see an Imprison user. You should run Detect just to be safe. It is technically optimal. But yeah, Sceptile, not the best Pokemon right now, but still not unusable. I think the rain matchup makes it worth it to explore it at least a little bit. Blaziken, I'm going to say B tier. I think Blaziken is quite good. We went undefeated with it just before recording this. Blaziken used to have a archetype back in Generation 7 that was pretty cool, where it was Mega Blaziken and Bisharp. It was pretty cool. Basically, Bisharp staved away the possible Intimidates that might come to Blaziken because it had Defiant, and it could also go for like Swords Dance. It had Sucker Punch, Protect, and like Iron Head. And if I recall correctly, Iron Head. If I recall correctly, it was always Focus Sash Bisharp and like Max Speed Jolly or something. That was a really good combo, you know? Blaziken, the only thing between them that they can't really hit is like water types, which is fine. They could hit fairy types, they could hit whatever. Like it was a good duo Pokemon inherently. Nowadays, Bisharp got upgraded to Kingambit, and while it's not as fast, Kingambit's a much better Pokemon. It's extremely threatening. So like this duo now exists, and Blaziken is able to hit like a speed tier where at +1 speed, after speed boost, you outspeed everything. It has Rock Slide, it has Close Combat, it has freaking Flare Blitz. It's got everything it needs. It even has Substitute if you really want to do that. It can even get Swords Dance. That's an option. You can do Swords Dance. It is kind of like just a fine Pokemon. It is the most B tier Pokemon ever made, but like top of B tier. It's not meta. You know, you can make the argument being as good as the meta Pokemon, but it doesn't have like as great of a matchup spread. But I think it's good. I think it's good. This channel is partnered with Gamersubs. If you want to support my work and get great tasting drinks, you can order Gamersubs through my link in the description down below, or with code Moxie boosted at checkout for 10% off. Gamersubs is a caffeinated product that I recommend only to my 18+ viewers, but my link will send you to their caffeine-free product section just in case. Every product purchased through my link supports my channel financially, so I'd really appreciate the support. Now back to the video. Finally, Swampert. I'm going to say that Mega Swampert is at the top of B tier. Mega Swampert is an incredible rain Pokemon. Like, it and Archaludon and Pelipper are just like a match made in heaven. Not to mention the fact that you can just run Sinistcha next to this thing, and like it is an extremely difficult Pokemon to break. Yeah, like this core is ridiculous at the moment. You could make the argument like Sneasler is a good option for this team, and then like final Pokemon. I'm a big fan of Dual Mega. You could run like Dual Mega with Dragonite, and that makes sense. But you could also run Dual Mega with Metagross, and that would make sense. Overall, though, I think that like Swampert is just very good. It got Wave Crash in this game. It still has, does it have Headlong Rush? It doesn't, but it has high horsepower. It has Earthquake. It's an extremely difficult Pokemon to switch in on. 150 attack in rain with Wave Crash. That's a ridiculous amount of damage you have to take. It's like one-shotting certain resists. It's just really, 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 really good. So, yeah. Its biggest nightmare, though, is, of course, Sinistcha, but there are ways around it. You have Ice Punch, you know. But, yeah, I'm going to say that you can make the argument that it's like, top... It's, like, very bottom of A tier. And we'll come back to it if I want to upgrade it there. I think it's really good. I think it's, like, very good, in fact. But I'm not quite sure if I want to put it there. For now, it's going to sit at the top of B tier. But it may go up to the top of A tier. Matter of fact, I'm gonna switch it from usable to good. I think good is a better explanation. B tier is good, C tier is kind of usable, F tier is not really worth it. All right, yeah. If I call it good, that means that like it's a little bit more representative of like its actual place in the metagame. All right. Next up we have Mega Mawile. Mega Mawile is good. I would say Mega Mawile is probably below Swampert. Not the most incredible Pokemon, but like still very good, very strong, very threatening. Mega Mawile has a lot of things going for it. It has 2 great abilities in its base form. While its stats in its base form are awful, though. You know, 85, 85 being the highest stats. But like in its Mega form, it gets huge power and 105 base attack. I believe the highest attack in the game at that point, which is ridiculous. It also has like really good physical bulk, kind of if you max out the HP, and pretty okay special bulk. Low HP is kind of taking it down, but Swampert over Raichu Y is kind of crazy. This is why we don't listen to TikTok comments, everybody. But basically, it has access to like Swords Dance, Iron Head, Sucker Punch. I keep typing in Iron, and it goes Iron Defense. Iron Head, Sucker Punch, and Play Rough. You kind of can't run all 4. Typically, if you're on Swords Dance, you still want Protect. 4 attacks, or like 4 moves, no Protect is kind of eh. You could get away with it. It's like a good Trick Room Pokemon. I think that you would usually probably drop either Iron Head or Sucker Punch for Protect, because Play Rough is like your best move. Maybe, I don't know. It's an interesting Pokemon. I think Play Rough has a better matchup spread into things. Like, you can one-shot Archaludon with +2 Play Rough, right? Sucker Punch allows you to like play outside of like Trick Room. But Swords Dance is still really good. You could also just not go Swords Dance, granted. I think 3 attacks is like a little bit more standard. But yeah, no Swords Dance is like perfectly acceptable. I think it might even be better. That being said, Swords Dance Sucker Punch with freaking huge power, ridiculous. Has a lot of great partners. I like Farigiraf next to it. It has like good synergy with like Sinistcha, even though they both have like a fire type weakness. Sinistcha at the very least is a ground resist, and that makes it so it can like set up Trick Room in front of a Garchomp while this thing protects, and then Play Rough goes off. Yeah, Mega Mawile is pretty good. I think a route to explore with Mega Mawile is actually Tail Room. I think that like you could run it in Trick Room, right? You can run it in Trick Room. You don't need to run like max attack. You can still like get like bulk off of it. But like you could even like hit a speed tier where your Mawile will be outspeeding a lot of Pokemon under Tailwind, while also still being a solid Trick Room Pokemon. So it is in that like range where it can kind of make it work, kind of like Ursaluna. Obviously, it doesn't have like the spread moves that Ursaluna does, but it is possible. So I think that's a very solid Pokemon. I do think Swampert is a little bit better though, but yeah. Let me think. What's next? These guys, I don't think there's anything new that I missed so far. We are at Metagross. All right. S tier. Mega Metagross. Ridiculous Pokemon. It did get nerfed. It did get nerfed, and I think that if it didn't get nerfed, it'd be even more ridiculous. I still think it's S tier, though. Yeah, Mega Metagross has 145 attack and Tough Claws. It used to get Heavy Slam, which is basically max power against everything. It is a 120, I think 130 even, I forget, I'm pretty sure it's 120. 120 base power steel type move that makes contact, boosted by Tough Claws, level 145 attack. Ridiculous move. Ridiculous move that can't miss. It even beats Chansey if it has minimized, right? It can't miss. But now it is forced to run either Iron Head or Meteor Mash. I think Iron Head's probably a little bit better. But it's still unbelievably strong. Stomping Tantrum allows for it to deal with opposing Incineroar. In its base form, it has Clear Body, so you can't intimidate it. So delaying your Mega Evolution is like a viable strategy. And it just has great coverage. It has Ice Beam, not Ice Beam. It has Ice Punch to deal with opposing like Garchomps. And even freaking Charizard isn't safe. I'm pretty sure it gets Rock coverage. Yeah, it gets Rock Slide. Off a 145 attack, it's kind of hard to switch in on that. It's also 110 base speed. Why is it so fast? Why is it faster than freaking Alolan Ninetales, right? It's getting outsped by Sneasler, but to be honest, that's to its advantage. Freaking put Sneasler next to it, run Ice Punch as like your coverage move. You go like Iron Head, Stomping Tantrum, Ice Punch, right? Now you don't even care about freaking... you don't even care about freaking Garchomp. You just go for Fake Out Ice Punch or even like Coaching Ice Punch. A Floette looks at these two and just explodes. It just does it itself. It doesn't even bother. It's just like, okay, we're gonna self-destruct. It does. I don't care, right? It doesn't even like have a matchup into that. Fast, powerful, bulky. It kind of has it all. It has a good matchup into Rain. It has a good matchup into Sun if it has freaking Rock Slide. It is a Rain Pokemon itself. It works well with Pelipper. Fairy types hate it. Freaking even Sand doesn't love the matchup because Iron Head is one-shotting a lot of Pokemon. It might even one-shot Mega Tyranitar. I'm not gonna check. I'm pretty sure it does because it's a stupid attack stat. And it's hard to intimidate. Yeah. So ridiculous Pokemon. It is up there. Yeah, and with Grimmsnarl too. Oh my god, Grimmsnarl next to this thing. How do you even deal with that? Screens go up. Metagross lives. Sinistcha, another great partner for it. Sinistcha switches in. Metagross lives. Redirection. Mouse hold. Metagross is ridiculous. I haven't touched it yet because I want to build like a really good team that is like at least interesting. I know how to build a good Metagross team, right? I want to build an interesting one is the issue. We'll save that for later on, but yeah. Good Pokemon. Incredible. The best of the bunch, I would argue. Staraptor. A lot of people are not going to agree with me on this one. Especially since I am releasing a how to beat Staraptor video probably after this one. That being said, I do not think Staraptor goes in A tier. I think Staraptor goes probably below Swampert, above Mawile, maybe even below Mawile. Here's the thing, right? I have to explain myself because a lot of people buy into the hype of certain Pokemon, right? A lot of people really buy into the hype of certain Pokemon. Staraptor plays a lot like Archaldon in that it just kind of bulks itself up and then like becomes extremely difficult to KO. It also requires a lot of support. Staraptor basically is always played with a Sinistcha or a Whimsicott or a Raichu. And these Pokemon are annoying because they support it. What do they have? Well, Staraptor is contrary. It has a really good speed stat, it has really good bulk, and a really good attack stat. It doesn't need to run a lot of attack investment. It gets close combat. Normally, it drops its defenses by 1 stage each. This actually boosts its defenses. It gets Roost. It gets Protect, and it gets Brave Bird. You just run those as your moves, right? It's extremely difficult to KO. It has screen support. Grimmsnarl is also a great Pokemon next to it because it has Light Screen and Reflect. You can heal it up with Sinistcha. You can Roost. It is a Pokemon that has a lot of different tricks it can use. Charm next to it is really good. Tickle next to it is really good, because you just boost its stats. Is it hard to deal with if you're not prepared? Yes. But technically speaking, every Pokemon is difficult to deal with if you're not prepared. If I pulled up in a match, if I pulled up to a match with you guys with friggin' Skeleturge, and you had a full team of grass types, because you're like, I'll never see a Skeleturge, you're going to lose to it. Are you running a full team of grass types against Staraptor? Is it that, like, extreme of, like, an example? No. But if you're not running an answer to Staraptor, are you going to lose to it? Yes. But if you're not running an answer to Dondozo, you're going to lose to it. And no one would call Dondozo S tier. If you're not running an answer to Psyspam, you're going to lose to it. And no one would call Psyspam S tier, right? Staraptor's good, but it's not meta. There's a lot of ways to deal with it. Literally just KOing the partner, setting up your own Tailwind. Mega Aerodactyl isn't even that bad of a matchup into it. You can use old tech. I would even argue that Charizard Garchomp, that lead of all things, it kind of hammers away at it a little too hard where it can comfortably do anything. You just click Heat Wave Rock Slide and you get rid of the Whimsicott turn 1 and deal heavy damage to the Staraptor, even though they're going to close combat you. Neither of these guys drop to close combat. You know? There's a lot of ways to deal with it. I like Dragonite. Dragonite is one of my favorite ways of dealing with it because Dragonite doesn't even care. You got Multiscale. You got Tailwind. You can set up Tailwind for the partner. Now you got Speed. You got Haze. A lot of different ways to deal with it. One of the funnier ways to deal with it, Grimmsnarl. I don't think you should do this one. I don't think this is the greatest way to deal with it, but if you want to just have a dedicated goodbye Staraptor button, you click Swagger into it because you confuse it and lower its attack by 2 stages. Staraptor's fine. My take on it is that it's going to be perhaps the most farmed Pokemon of all time come a week, maybe like 2 days from now. In a week, you're going to see Staraptor on ladder, but you can farm it. Frankly, I have not seen, like, there's going to be people who run Staraptor in like a Limitless tournament and they're going to win the Limitless tournament. It might even top 4 like the VR tournament or the Smogon tournament this weekend. If it does, I don't think that's indicative of it being broken because we're still like in the first couple of like days of the format. But I think it's going to fall off a lot. I think it's going to be one of the biggest. It loses to Metagross. Set up the screens. That's cool. I'm going to go ahead and Psychic Fangs, break the screens, and then deal damage and maybe one-shot you because it's a ridiculous move. Yeah, I think that it's a little too hyped up. Staraptor's the new Aggron, if that makes sense. I wouldn't even call it the Aggron. Aggron was never hyped up the same way Staraptor is. Mega Staraptor's the new... I like to call it Psyspam. It's not like... Psyspam was never hyped up, right? But Psyspam is like an archetype that you give to a new player if you want to teach them how to play. You don't really need to like adjust your game plan for many matchups. You kind of just do what you think you need to do, like the standard game plan, and you'll probably win like half your games, maybe more than half. But you're never going to climb out of like Master Ball 4. You'll hit Master Ball 4 and maybe Master Ball 3, but you'll never be 2 or 1 if you like don't learn the game further. But you also don't need to learn the game further. You can just kind of sit there and like be comfortable with your place in the world. But it's also extremely farmable to people who know how to play against it. I don't know. I think that's how Staraptor is right now. It's like the exact same thing as Psyspam. But yeah. You know what else Psyspam never did? Win a tournament until MDB played it, and MDB's worst placement at Worlds is 3rd. I'm just saying. The only person to win a tournament with Psyspam was MDB. So, yeah, all right. We're done with Staraptor. I feel like I had to explain that one a lot because I'm going to get a lot of flack from the comments saying like, oh, Staraptor's broken. It's not. You're just not used to doing it. Not used to doing anything into it. Scolipede. Honestly, Scolipede might actually be F tier. I don't think it's that bad. I would put it like bottom of C tier. Very bottom. It is difficult to play at the very least. It's bordering on being the worst. Scolipede does have a cool gimmick. Before it Mega Evolves, it does have Speed Boost, right? Now, this would be cool because Scolipede can run Adamant Nature and outspeed base 100s, even base 102s, if it runs like almost max speed. Because at +1, when you Mega Evolve, you'll still be faster than them. To do that, you have to get rid of a lot of bulk. And Scolipede doesn't have a high HP stat. So you really wish you could invest into it. So it's kind of being pulled in two different directions. It's not quite slow enough for Trick Room. I don't think 62 is like the Trick Room number you want to hit. It's usually 50 or lower. 55 even. But yeah. Also, thanks for the YouTube membership, The Sandwich. Make sure you join the members Discord. Appreciate you. Also, yeah, all right. It does have a good matchup into a few Pokemon. It is a hard wall to Sneasler, a hard wall to Floette, kind of. It does pretty good into Garchomp if they're not rock sliding you. Even then, if they're rock sliding you, have an incredible defense stat. But it is extremely difficult to get to work. It's extremely difficult to even get into a position where you're going to work. Gunk Shot is kind of mandatory to one-shot Floettes and Sylveons. It does get Swords Dance. You can run Rock Slide as a way to deal with opposing, like, you know, Charizard, because at +1 speed, you will outrun it and maybe one-shot. And then, like, you have to run Protect. If you drop the Rock Slide, or if you drop the Swords Dance, you run Leech Life. That gets you some recovery. Maybe you just run Swords Dance, Leech Life, no coverage. It's just in a very awkward spot in the metagame. It doesn't quite do anything yet. It might be better down the road, but in the Charizard game, no. Where is Metagross? Metagross is at the top. Metagross is number 1. Extremely broken Pokemon. All right. Mega Scrafty. You guys aren't going to like my take on Mega Scrafty. Yeah, no. Scolipede is kind of like a potential Mon. I will give it potential Mon. Mega Scrafty is... It's not good. It's really not good. Someone's going to top cut a Limitless Tour with it, and, like, I'm going to get flack for the take, but I think that, like, broadly speaking, it doesn't really bring anything to a team right now that you really want. It is kind of annoying. That being said, the only time I've lost to a Mega Scrafty was on a Kafagrigus team, where they took away my Defiance on my King Gambit because I attacked into it, and then they could safely Mega Evolve in front of me. You know, I'm going to add a D tier. I think I did need the D tier, and I was in denial. D stands for owned. Don't. And then F is going to be... F is just... What are we doing here? Okay. Yeah, I think that things do get worse than Sceptile. Yeah, Scolipede's in don't. Scrafty's also going to be in don't. Scrafty is in don't. Probably higher than Scolipede. I think that Scrafty has some interesting things going for it, right? In its base form, it has Intimidate. And then when you Mega Evolve, you get a second Intimidate. That's cool. We didn't know that that's how it worked until now. That's awesome. Has access to Knockoff. Has access to coverage moves like Ice Punch, Close Combat, Drain Punch. That being said, it kind of fails to do anything the best. Which, in a format like this, you kind of need to do things the best to be worth it. Or at the very least, do something that other things can't. Scrafty can do something that other things can't, which is Intimidate twice, which would be good. It would be good if we weren't in the Sylveon, Floette, Charizard meta with, yes, a lot of physical attackers. That would have been nice a few metagames ago, or like one metagame ago at the beginning of like Regulation MA, where we knew it was like a pure physical, you know, thing going on. But after Scrafty intimidates a second time, it's kind of iffy. Scrafty kind of plays like Mega Scovelin, where it's not the focus of the team. You want another Pokemon to kind of like take the shine there. King Gambit was a great Pokemon next to Mega Scovelin. I don't know if it's going to be the same with Scrafty, but like you kind of play the other Pokemon like the Mega Pokemon. You get Fake Out, you get 2 Intimidates, you can set up with the partner Pokemon, and yeah, you have good recovery with Scrafty. Scrafty is good into King Gambit. I can tell you one thing, no matter how good you are into King Gambit, you really don't want to be on the receiving end of a +2 Iron Head because it's going to hurt. And if you flinch, you lose the interaction because you drop to the next one. Yeah, we live in King Gambit's world. Scrafty is not great. Doesn't like Sylveon. Pretty good to Garchomp. Doesn't beat the Garchomp, though. You can do Swords Dance. I think that legitimately the way you run Scrafty is probably Swords Dance. You might even drop Fake Out, truth be told. It might be a just double Intimidate bot where it's easy to Swords Dance for yourself and you get knockoff and Drain Punch. Because you can't just run solo Drain Punch and Fake Out and Swords Dance. And you don't have the damage output if you don't run Swords Dance. So it's kind of in a weird spot. It's okay at some things, but it's just not quite good enough to fit onto a team. I also think we drop this guy down here. Yeah, all right. Next up, Mega Eelektross. I would say kind of usable. I like Mega Eelektross. I think Mega Eelektross is really good. Really good for like content. It doesn't really bring anything to the table super impressive. It does have, you know, fake Beast Boost and also Levitate, so it has like no weaknesses. And it does make up for a lot of like base Eelektross's like shortcomings, because base Eelektross had, you know, kind of mediocre stats. Where like Mega Eelektross has incredible stats, but it's like bulk still isn't great. And that's kind of by design. You know, if it had better bulk, it just hardly has better bulk. It has 10 more special defense. If it had better bulk, it would be kind of difficult to KO with no weaknesses. Yeah, Electroweb's great on it. The fact that it can boost its special attack stats great. Thunderbolt's nice. It has like really, really good coverage in like Giga Drain and Flamethrower and stuff. There's a way to make this thing be good. I don't know if I found it yet. I did pretty okay on ladder. I used it to climb to Master Ball in my run. But in Master Ball, I don't think it's like the best. I don't even know if I can... I could probably hit champions with it, right? If I like stuck to it, but I don't know if I would recommend it for most people. It's strong. It's strong. It's good on Rain. It's good into Charizard if you have Rain. You know, it's a good Pokemon, but it's not like, you know, it's not like B tier. It's better than both the Raichus, I would say, but not B tier. Mega Pyroar. Surprisingly good. I would say top of C. I don't think it's broken. There's a lot of like slander posting for Mega Pyroar, but it's not as bad as people say it is. I would argue better than the Eelektross. It's a lot easier to position than Eelektross, right? It's a lot easier to position than Eelektross because Mega Pyroar actually has a lot of things going for it. Mega Pyroar is faster than most Pokemon in the game. It's faster than even Sneasler, meaning it can go for the Overheat and one-shot them. Overheat one-shots basically anything that doesn't resist it. It has Heat Wave, which in Sun is a ridiculously strong move. Basically, with no Sun, it acts like it has Sun active. I'm a big fan of Substitute on mine. I don't think I like running coverage moves because, honestly, Dark Pulse is cool and all, but like you're not really hitting anything that you're not hitting already with like Heat Wave and Overheat. I wish it got Nasty Plot. It'd be ridiculous if it got it, but yeah, I like Substitute personally. It does have Scorching Sands. It lost Earth Power from Legends EA, but it can still do that if you want like a coverage move into Rock types, as few Rock types as there are. And you have Snarl, which could be good. You would run Snarl over Substitute, I would argue. But I think that Pyroar wants to focus on damage. I run it with Whimsicott. Sunny Day Whimsicott's nice next to it. It also lets you deal with opposing Garchomp. I've seen a lot of people run freaking Ninetales Pyroar or Torkoal Pyroar. That's cool. You get Sun automatically and all, but like you can't reset it super easily like Whimsicott can, and you also have no matchup into Garchomp. So just run the Whimsicott. Fairy Feather's like good. Freaking Focus Sash is good. So yeah, it's an okay Pokemon. I had a really good run with it. I enjoyed it. I think it's not B tier, but it's pretty usable. Next up, Malamar. Any guesses? Any guesses as to where it's going? Yeah, we're gonna put it there. There's no reason to use Mega Malamar. I will throw it out there. It's a lot of people will say, oh, Mega Malamar, it's better than base Malamar, but it kind of isn't. It kind of isn't. Let me show you something, right? Malamar operates well under Trick Room. Mega Malamar, at that point, you operate kind of under Tailwind, and I would argue. You kind of need to do the Tailwind stuff. But base Malamar, 86 HP, 88 defense, 75 special defense. Those are the most important stats on it. Mega Malamar, 86 HP, 88 defense, 120 special defense. Does this benefit Malamar in the fact that it can get even more specially bulky while boosting its stats with superpower and not have to worry too much? Yes. However, what Mega Malamar lacks is recovery. Doesn't have any way to recover other than rest. That's an issue. Base Malamar does get leftovers. And I would argue that base Malamar is better than Mega Malamar simply due to the fact that it can hypothetically recover. And while Mega Malamar does initially hit harder with superpower, It doesn't have better physical defense. It only really improves special defense. The special attack is useless, and the points are basically all wasted. The only useful stat distribution is the freaking... What is this? It's the freaking 45 special attack investment into special defense. That's great. You don't really need it. You'd rather have the recovery. That's the only thing that really matters, because after a few superpowers, you're not really noticing the difference. It is a very bad Pokemon. It's definitely B tier. Okay, buddy. Okay, buddy. But yeah, even if we're like not even like accounting for the fact that it like is worse than its base form because it doesn't get to hold a recovery item, it's not strong enough to be used as a Mega Pokemon. Tell me why Malamar gets a 102 attack stat and Staraptor gets a 140, and they both get contrary. And also Staraptor has better defenses and a better defensive typing than Malamar. This is the most baffling Pokemon I've ever seen. It like no matter how broken you think contrary is, you're not doing it with Malamar, you know? It's just not happening. This thing's weak to everything and resists nothing. I wouldn't say the special attack is useless. It can stored power. That is fair. It can stored power. It can stored power. I'll bring that up. Is the stored power set probably okay? Yes, but I think you're also pulling in two directions there. Because you want to invest in attack if you're using the superpower stuff, right? But if you're using stored power, you probably want some special attack to make it worth it. Superpower stored power is an option. Protect, what's your final move? Do you have anything that helps boost your special attack stat? Not really. You kind of need to target into itself. Really, the only way you're going to get away with like stored power Malamar is if you're boosting it yourself with a partner Pokemon. At which point you're just playing Protect the President, you know? You're really playing Protect the President there. And the only way to use Malamar... Other Mega Pokemon, it's a case where you can put the Mega Pokemon on the team and it shows up to some matchups, and sometimes it doesn't, and it's still fine. Mega Malamar is the case where you build the team so centralized around the Malamar that everything on the team is basically a Malamar accessory. It is helping the Malamar. And when the Malamar does not show up to the match, or the Malamar does nothing, or the Malamar gets KO'd, the battle does not proceed. You lose the game. You really just lose the game. Malamar is incredibly bad. It is incredible. I wouldn't say it's worse than Audino. I think Audino is still the worst Mega Pokemon, because Malamar can at least do something if you really stick your mind to it. But Audino is incredibly bad. Spam superpower, then stored power, no EV to physical attack, max EV to special. Its special attack stat's still 98, you know? You can argue, you know, you can set up for it. The best way to describe it, the Malamar defenders, is we have one in chat here. And I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. I mean, I am right now, but I'm not going to be mean about it, right? Is that, like, Mega Malamar is a very, if I get this off. You're consistently going, if I get the superpower, if I side tickle, if I side parting shot, if I do this, if I do that, I can win. Other Pokemon, it's a when. Mega Swampert, it's when I wave crash and KO. You know what's gonna happen because you can set it up. Mega Malamar has so many ifs until the point where it's threatening that it's not really worth it. You know? When I get my Heat Wave off, when I Speed Boost, when I Iron Head, when I Close Combat, when I Psychic Fangs. If I get the superpower off 5 turns in a row and then attack, I will be strong with the non-stab move. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Most Mega Pokemon don't require a full team to support them. Malamar does. All right. Next up, Mega Barbaracle. I don't know. Actually, Mega Barbaracle is probably the only Mega Pokemon on this list that I have like no solid opinion on yet. I'm gonna caution. I'm gonna err on the side of caution. Put it in C. I don't think it's the worst. It does have some cool things going for it. Barbaracle in its Mega form has Tough Claws. It has the strongest close combat in the game by far because 140 base power plus Tough Claws plus Stab is incredible. Rock Slide, unfortunately, does not get boosted by Tough Claws because it's a non contact move. It does get Shell Smash, which is nice. You can double its special attack and attack. Only really care about the physical attack though. And double its speed, and that's pretty good. You outspeed basically everything at +2. You can just hit like 113 if you really want to. You probably want more though to outspeed things in your base set. And then like final move, Protect. I would say the biggest issue with Mega Barbaracle is it's extremely linear. At least in doubles, it is extremely linear. Doesn't really do much beyond that. Probably requires a lot of support. Great Charizard matchup, I would argue. It has incredible bulk. 72, 130, 106. That's very good. It is an incredible Charizard matchup. But I mean, the Charizard has a freaking Garchomp next to it. Garchomp doesn't care about anything Barbaracle wants to do. It's fine. I would say maybe closer to don't than kind of usable, but you can get away with it, you know? Yeah, we'll go with that. All right. Next up is Mega Dragalge. I would say Mega Dragalge's probably right here. Probably the lowest of these guys. The thing with Mega Dragalge that I have a little bit of an issue with is it does have a great ability. It does have a great ability. But it is out-damaged by Base Dragalge. Base Dragalge with a Life Orb, some of the most consistent damage you can get in this game. Sludge Bomb hits really hard. There's no Assault Vest, so actually Base Dragalge is kind of in a great spot right now, if you ask me. It's about as good as it will ever be, but I think people will be overlooking that due to the fact that Mega Dragalge exists. Yeah, Base Dragalge has better damage output due to adaptability, even though it has a much lower special attack stat. It hits a lot harder than Mega Form. Not a lot harder, but noticeably more. If you do go with Mega Dragalge, it's basically going to be a Trick Room Pokemon, and I think it will never be your primary Mega target. I think it's going to be a secondary Mega at best. And I'm not sure what you would pair it with. I guess Mega Dragalge is the Pokemon you bring to the Floette matchup, so you probably want to make it so whatever Mega Dragalge loses to, you bring a different Mega. Mega Dragalge doesn't like Swampert, I guess. It really doesn't like Swampert. So something that beats Swampert. I don't know, maybe Floette itself if you have Sun. I don't know. It's weird. Mega Dragalge is going to be a difficult Pokemon to build around. I think it'll get better with time. I think that when we add Incineroar, Urshifu, and Rillaboom to the game, that old trio, Mega Dragalge is actually quite good into that. Sludge Bomb hurts. Dragon Pulse and Draco Meteor hurts. You probably run Draco at that point. But it doesn't quite do much beyond that. It's very specially bulky. Its physical defense is fine. But I think that like it does kind of struggle to get much done other than just kind of sit there and aura farm. It's fine. It's like one of the most okay Megas ever. It does have Haze, and it technically walls out close combat from Staraptor. So Haze is like a usable option. I'm not sure though. I don't quite have a solid opinion on where to put it, but I would say that it's probably the bottom of C tier. All right, what's left? Is that it? I think that's it. I think that's it for the new Megas, right? I don't think they added anything else. Am I missing anything? Yeah, I think everything else is a pre-existing Mega Pokemon. Oh, Mega Falinks. Thank you. Mega Falinks. That's a don't. That's a don't. Unfortunately. Here's the issue with Mega Falinks. Base Falinks had this issue as well. I think it's the fact that Mega Falinks hardly got a boost to its special defense. If it got a good boost to its special defense, it'd be pretty decent. But it is still very linear. I think Mega Falinks is a singles Pokemon, is the best way to put it. Because in singles, Mega Falinks doesn't have to run Protect. Mega Falinks can close combat, Iron Head, and no retreat. And then like what's your final move? Like ground coverage to hit. I don't know. Probably rock coverage. You just run Rock Slide, right? You run rock coverage, and like, yeah, it's a good Pokemon. You just set up to like do a win condition with it where nothing really can stop it from getting its setup move off, and then you just sweep. That's good in singles. In doubles, which is what we're ranking right now because it's, you know, VGC, you do need no retreat, and you do need close combat. I don't think it gets Drain Punch. It doesn't. Yeah, you do need close combat, and you have to drop by either Iron Head or Rock Slide for Protect. I would argue depending on the team, it's probably going to be Iron Head. Because Rock Slide gives you a Charizard matchup and an Aerodactyl matchup, and it is a win con in certain situations if you're lucky enough. 149 is the number to outspeed Mega Aerodactyl. Luckily, Mega Falinks can hit it with an Adamant Nature, which is quite good. That means that you can, like, hit 187 attack and then just boost your HP. Probably want to run it with a Sinistcha for redirection and, like, health. So you can actually get the no retreat off. But it is kind of like Mega Malamar, where it does require a lot of babysitting. Not nearly as much babysitting as Mega Malamar, but it is a babysat Pokemon. So I don't think it's that great. Once again, it is in the Fairy type meta, so it's kind of not Fairy type meta, but we're in like a meta game where there's a Fairy type on almost every team, and like it's either Floette or Gardevoir or Sylveon, and they're all very good. So it's a little difficult to run. I had a good time running it when I played it, but I was also playing it in Pokeball tier, laddering up to Master Ball tier. I don't know if I'd run it in Master Ball tier and expect to see the same results. At least not if I'm not going for content. But yeah, Mega Falinks is quite bad, but not nearly as bad as Mega Malamar. Yeah, that's my take. There's no Pokemon I would put in meta. I think they're either just good or the best. You can make the argument that if you really want to put something there, it'd be Swampert. So we'll stick with this. I think this is probably the tier list of the new Mega Pokemon. We put Metagross in S, Swampert in A, Staraptor, Mawile and Blaziken in B. You cannot interchange them however you want. You can even make the argument that Staraptor might be the worst of them, or it might be the best of them. It's kind of whatever. I do think these are in the right order, funnily enough. I think that Mega Pyroar is the best of the C-tier Megas, with Eelektross close behind the Raichus and then Dragalge at the bottom. Mega Barbaracle, Falinks, Scrafty, Sceptile, and Scolipede are all kind of just not super usable, but you can get away with it if you really try. And then I think that Mega Malamar requires way too much babysitting to ever be worth it, and even if you babysit it, you're kind of just going to lose to anything. But yeah, that's my take on the tier list. If you guys are watching on YouTube, if you're not watching live, there's a lot of people watching live. You should watch my live streams. There's approximately... how many people are watching this live right now? Over almost 2,000 people watching me tier list these Pokemon. That's really funny. Thank you so much for the support, guys. But I think we're going to call it there. So if you're watching on YouTube, you know, the video, goodbye. Thanks for watching.